this content is for kids.
It's not for kids.
Isn't that what I said?
No, it's not for kids. If you are 13 years or younger, this is not for you. Do I have to kill somebody in order to actually make that point across?
No, man, you don't have to kill
Wait
no one.
a second.
Oh, no.
When we return to our planet, the High Court may well sentence you to torture.
He likes movies, we like movies. SeptumSin versus the world. SeptumSin versus the world. SeptumSin versus the world. SeptumSin versus the world. I'd buy that for $1.
Greetings! You're watching SeptumSin versus the world. I'm SeptumSin. This is Kotobuki Jake, and we're going to show you what we got.
Show me what you got. I want to see what you got. Oh boy.
Alright, so we're going to move fast. I'm going to talk fast, but I'm going to move this over to Jake to start us out, and I'm going to push it over here. Whoop.
Okay. So tonight I have a couple of mini themes going on. 2 orders, each of which basically are 4 titles. So it worked out nicely. Interesting bit of I can't speak. Sort of a contrast, though. Contrast. One of them is an order that I placed a month and a half, 2 months ago, that just arrived last week. And another one I placed last week and arrived today. Yeah, go figure. So, anyway, the first one was my order from Shout Factory. They did some interesting holiday, Halloween type deals. I believe they called theirs a Shocktober, but Arrow did the same thing, if I remember correctly. I'm getting mixed up. But anyway, so like I said, got 4 titles. One of them is one that I believe is an upgrade from DVD, but it's a collector's edition. It's on Blu-ray, and it's a movie that I enjoyed a lot that we've covered on Movies Galore, and that is a mockumentary called Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon.
Very cool.
It is a cool one. It's got a really nice cover. I like this edition. And like I said, it's got a pretty decent number of special features there, so that's kind of cool. So basically, legendary maniacs Jason Voorhees, Michael Myers, and Freddy Krueger. Now meet Leslie Vernon, the next great psycho slasher. Nathan Baesel stars as Vernon, a good-natured killing machine who invites a documentary film crew to follow him as he reminisces with his murder mentor, Scott Wilson, evades his psychiatrist nemesis, his Ahab, Robert Englund, deconstructs Freudian symbolism, and meticulously plots his upcoming slaughter spree, etc., etc. Fun movie. Enjoyable. Check out our discussion.
All right. So you've gotten this on a previous pickup, so I'm not going to over report this. This one I got on a Right Stuff sale about a year ago, so it's been a while. But I said, okay, this is something. We added the extra one onto this, so this is not a part of my theme. This is mainly because I want to throw something out to you, anime collector people who come here and look at this. So you've got this. We've got Yurikuma Arashi, which is essentially about some lesbian bears and the fun that they have together. And it's actually from what I've heard, it's a very good anime. It's very well rated. This is an Essentials. I got it for about $15 originally when it was there because that's what they usually put them on sale for. I've heard a lot of good things. I need to see it. Jake's talked a lot about it more. He talked kind of at length before about it. Go back, find that video. You'll get more about this. Still, once I've seen it, then maybe I'll talk more on it and let you know what I think.
Good times.
Lesbian bears can't be too bad, right?
Yes, exactly. Actually, it's kind of funny that they didn't translate that because the title literally is Lily Bear Storm. And I just think that's a fun title. But anyway, next one up is a movie that I've been meaning to see for a long time. I've known about it for a long time. It's not one that I would necessarily say I've been dying to see, but Shout also has their going out of print thing, and I try to stay ahead of it. If I see something that catches my interest and they say it's going out of print, I like to try to. I'll throw it. Well, I've only done a few orders directly from them, but I've kind of used them as cart toppers and whatever. And I did that with this one. This is actually a film by Jonathan Demme, the director of Silence of the Lambs. And it's, I believe, a pseudo-documentary for storyteller Spalding Gray, and it's called Swimming to Cambodia.
Ooh,
and
long ways.
What's that?
That's a long swim.
Yeah, I know. And this is one I'm definitely very curious about. I mean, again, it's basically Gray's one-man show, kind of as directed by Demme. That's pretty much the gist of it. And actually, wait a minute. Oh, never mind. I was misreading something there. But anyway, I am very curious. It's kind of about he worked on the film The Killing Fields, and apparently much of this is about his experiences in Southeast Asia doing that film, and I'm very curious. It should be fun.
So let's see here. Well, one of the people that I actually... Oh, I should probably put this over to me. One of the people that I work with Inside Movies Galore goes by the name of Dane Damerung or Dane Kyle, depending on which circle you go in. And he has a channel. And I think I've linked it below on my regular. I always try and link all the people that I want to have there. I usually keep a permanent link in the description below. So this is not going to be new if you've clicked on all of them. He's with Indie Horror Film Creative. So I ended up getting a lot from him for very cheap. Some of them I'm not sure as to if I get like the original covers, I might keep those, but a lot of these don't mean enough to me to actually try and hunt down original covers for some of these. But let's start with the first one in that lot. It was a lot of 7. So this one is one of the first. Here's a 4 film favorites with Ninja Assassin and Blood Diamond, which were the 2 there. Blood Diamond is Upgrade, which is a good film. By the way, very good film with Leonardo DiCaprio, very enjoyable, about like the diamond trade in Africa and, you know, child soldiers, all that fun stuff. Ninja Assassin, just kind of a fun action romp, which is pretty much what Domino is as well. And Executive Decision is a Kurt Russell film, and I was kind of bored by it, but yeah. It was still decent enough. So not a bad 4-piece there, and definitely an upgrade for the Blu-rays. So pretty good there.
Good deal. Now, these next 2, one of them will be an upgrade to Blu-ray, but they're both, they have a theme, and that is these are collector's editions from Shout Factory of Stephen King adaptations. And one is one that I have seen, and one is one that I have not seen. And sadly, I have not yet read either of these. I need to put them on my to-read list. The first one is a film called Firestarter, which, again, this has some pretty decent special features there. But basically, this is a film that it's a Dino De Laurentiis presentation, directed by Mark L. Lester, produced by Frank Capra Jr., interesting. A young Drew Barrymore, I believe, is one of the co-stars in this, along with David Keith, Heather Locklear, Martin Sheen, Art Carney, Louise Fletcher, George C. Scott. Not a bad cast. I've heard mixed things about this over the years. You're more the King person. You might know more than I do, but I do know that it's one I need to see eventually. They had a really good price on this, and I was like, might as well jump on it.
So not bad actually. I mean, I have the rare two film collection for Firestarter, so I don't know. I do need to check into it. I haven't seen it. I'm bad, but it is what it is. I've gotten to the point where people, when they say, "How can you not have seen that?" I go, if I'm here, I go,
Yeah.
there's a lot of stuff I haven't seen, but
Right.
at the same time, there's a lot of stuff I have seen.
Mhm.
So keep that in mind. And speaking of stuff I have seen, I've had to watch all these because I got them used.
Mhm.
And my policy is used as first. So I watched this movie here, Cyborg X, which Danny Trejo was in this. It's one of those where it's a Sci-Fi Channel type movie where they try and put Danny Trejo up on the cover, even though he's not really the lead. It's a future where, post-apocalyptic Terminator-style future. People are kind of captured and made into cyborgs, and they're trying to undo it and all that stuff. And it's okay. It was kind of forgettable. I kind of tuned out a lot during my viewing of it, but I might one day give it another go. Maybe like
praise indeed.
So, but it's all right. Danny Trejo plays a Danny Trejo-ish part in it.
Okay.
Not much of one, but it is there. So there you go.
All right. Next up is an upgrade. This is one that I have on DVD. And if I remember correctly, I think I have a pretty bare bones edition. And I think we discussed when this one came out, when we saw that it was coming out, I think I mentioned that there was a very high probability I would try to get the upgrade. And again, they had a really, really good price. I think both of these Stephen King ones were like $12.50, which is not bad for a Blu-ray. And that is the collector's edition of Misery.
Oh, very cool.
With Kathy Bates and James Caan. Oscar-winning film. Bates does a pretty phenomenal job as a, quote, number one fan of the writer that's played by James Caan, Paul Sheldon. And this has some really impressive special features there. A lot of nice stuff, including an audio commentary by the writer William Goldman. Mm-hmm. One of the most awesome things about this is that the writer-director team is the same writer-director team behind The Princess Bride. And I find that hilarious. And it is one of Rob Reiner's better films. It's one of William Goldman's great films. I will be interested in hearing his commentary because he has actively said Princess Bride and Butch Cassidy are the only things he's proud of. So I'd be curious to hear his commentary on this. But it's worth an upgrade. It's worth getting if you don't already have it. This is a classic movie. Again, I need to read the story eventually.
So there are a couple of these. I kind of took a crapshoot on most of these, with the exception of two titles. The first one I showed, the 4 film favorites, and the last one I'm going to show are the only two that I had that were known commodities. And as you could tell, Cyborg X was kind of a letdown. But let's go to one that was actually a fun one that I was impressed by, and that is the movie Game Night with Jason Bateman and Rachel McAdams. This is a fun film and a fairly funny comedy where you've got this couple. They meet over game night and they bond over this. They become almost like Will and Grace. If you remember that series where they were that vicious couple with the game nights, and that's how they were. And they are thinking about having a child, and he's kind of like a bit jealous of his brother. So his brother comes over and he proposes a big game night at his mansion, and he's about to just like have somebody abducted for like this actor murder mystery. And it turns out that actually part of that is real. So it kind of moves into a Man Who Wasn't There. The Man Who, not The Man Who Wasn't There, The Man Who Knew Too Little, that sort of thing. It's a very well done film. I enjoyed it. It's solid. It's funny. This one I'm glad to have in the collection. I'm kind of sad it has a printed out cover for it. I might have to hunt down like a real box for it later on if I can find it cheap. But it's still great film. Very much enjoyed it. Glad I got to see it. And this one was worth the money for the set almost on its own. When combined with all the ones I liked, it was worth the money I paid.
All right. So we got through the shout order. It's interesting. We were talking, I think, earlier on our the new items list, how sometimes this releases are being, well, I don't know, how different companies move on different wavelengths, I guess was the gist of it. But anyway, one company that was really dropping the ball earlier in the season, although they had some excuses, COVID, a derecho, they had some valid excuses. But Right Stuff, some of their stuff took a good long while to ship. But my most recent order, again, they pretty much shipped it the next day. So I was like, okay, cool. I like this. It is kind of a small order, so it's probably easier to put together. And it's mostly older titles, so most of these have been on my to-get list for a while. Just finally got them. And one of them is actually a Bandai release. There are still a few of those floating around. And it was dirt cheap. It was like $5 on Right Stuff. So I was like, yes, please. And that was the series Galaxy Angel X, which, I don't really know this show, but again, why not? It's $5. It's a Bandai release. Why not?
Yes. It's not bad. It's always good to have something. I had to do some cart toppers for an order myself because I wanted to get free shipping. I actually got a blind box from Right Stuff for once because I was $1 away. Well, speaking of something that's worth about $1, I'm slowly collecting these. I'm missing only 2. There's only 4 of the films in the series, and that is this Mega Shark versus Colossus.
Nice.
So the only ones I'm missing now is the one versus Crocosaurus and the one versus Mecha Shark. And much like Mega Shark versus Giant Octopus, it's a lot of boring banter mixed with a small amount of fun over-the-top scenes.
And recycled stock footage?
Yeah, and more shark taking a plane out of the sky. So, hey, it's a lot of stuff that'll put you to sleep, which is why I can't tell you what it's about for the most part. But I did enjoy the battle between the shark and the Colossus at the end.
Cool.
Yep.
Okay, so my next one is actually a long time coming. Again, Right Stuff has, for a while now, they've had a number of Funimation limited edition sets, basically in permanent clearance mode. And one of them is a show I really, really wanted to get, but it's one of those ones where they did a split collection. And I just couldn't find the second half at what I considered a reasonable price. But amazingly, they finally dug up some copies of the second half and priced it at the same price as the first half. So I could be remembering this wrong, but I think I got these for $10 each. So, and that's the series Robotics Notes. Yeah, so you got the nice, pretty art box with set 1, which comes with art cards, apparently. And also, you're supposed to take those art cards out and slip this in, which annoys me because it means that the art card box and this slipcover are going to have to go into my storage box, which is kind of annoying. But I did want the limited edition when possible. I've heard decent things about the series. Haven't heard a lot about it, but it has been on my radar for some time. And again, I finally got it at a price that was more than worth the wait.
Yeah, I went ahead and I ended up purchasing the save edition of it.
Yeah.
But it's got the whole thing. It takes up a heck of a lot of room. It doesn't look as nice, though.
No.
But I'll show that off later on in a pickup. Speaking of fun pickups, this one, again, it looked absurd and it delivered. Great. Cyborg X didn't deliver, but it kind of got what I was expecting. Mega Shark got what I was expecting. Game Night, it went over my expectations. I was much happier with it. And then this one, Pandemonium,
Nice.
apparently a recent release, is about a dude going through a corporate office building with a panda mask and just killing people. It is a fun film. I really enjoyed this. I just enjoyed this film for what it was. It was trashy. It was fun. It wasn't super over the top, which is strange to say for somebody in a panda mask, but it was a great film. They're coming out with a sequel eventually. I will have to watch that. But this is a 2020 film, believe it or not. I'm glad to have it. This is another one that I feel like was in the worth it category.
Right. Yeah.
It is as fun as it sounds. Panda mask guy killing people. It's just
Is there one that I would enjoy or no?
I think you would get some enjoyment out of it. None of the kills are over the top gory. They're just basic, like, okay, he'll slit the throat or he'll just stab them or whatever.
Okay.
He's a quick and efficient killer and he moves on.
Okay. Well, there you go. There you go. More killers ought to learn how to be efficient in their work. All right. So my next up is another one that's a long time coming. And it's part of a large franchise that I have avoided partly because of how large it is, partly because of the annoyingly disparate way that Funimation has released it, and because the overall cost added up. I did eventually pick up the movie, which I think I presented a couple months back, but I now finally have the first series, the main series of the show, Eureka 7.
Ah, very good.
These nice kind of slim pack editions. Each part is a 25 episode volume, so these are pretty nice space-saving collections. They're not as fancy as some of the older ones, but again, you got 50 episodes here, and for the life of me, I can't remember what the price point on these was, but it was not a lot. I want to say these were about 12 or so. Might have been a little more, but it wasn't a lot. So it was enough that I was like, it's about time. So I finally got him.
All right. Very good. Very good. So, Strangerland. This one's an obviously printed out cover for it. And under some circumstances, I might
You still got me up.
Oh. Strangerland,
Yeah.
which is an obvious printout cover there. For this one, you can even tell kind of like this. But that's all right. It's not, if I really wanted this movie in the full regular cover, it's pretty cheap. Family at their dull life in rural outback town is rocked after two teenage children disappear in the desert, sparking disturbing rumors of their past. It seems like it'd be more entertaining than it was. It's not. I was bored by this film. Not bored enough to where I consider it terrible, but bored enough to where I consider it not even worth replacing the slipcover or the cover for this. So
it doesn't meet the Adventureland standard?
No, I'd say I'd have let's see, IMDb ranks it as a 5.2, and I'd say I'd agree with that. About a 5 would be my rating for it as well. So it's just like, it's all right. It's not really all that great, though.
So you're more excited about that than those Fellini films we were talking about?
It's this one wouldn't even rank a curious. It would rank a probably a meh.
Okay.
So no, I'm
Okay.
more excited about the Fellini films.
Okay. All right. So my last one is one where I have some mixed feelings because I get a nice, pretty, slimmed down little Blu-ray pack that won't take up a lot of space on the shelf, but I really envy him his collection. You have a really cool set for this. It's an old show that came in 3 iterations. The first one was I believe, 8-episode OVA, followed by a full-length series, followed by a sequel series. And I found the OVA dirt cheap once, and it was a great pickup, and I was really proud to have it. And now I'll have an extra copy that I need to find a good home for. But I gave up hope long ago of ever getting the Kit and Caboodle collection. So I went ahead and got the re-release from Discotech of All-Purpose Cultural Cat Girl Nuku Nuku, which does include the OVA, the full series, and Dash, the sequel series. I have not yet seen Dash, and I don't think I've actually seen the full series, but I saw the OVA, and I loved it. It's good, cheesy, early 90s action fun. It's not deep. It's not art. It's fun. And and they were running a decent Discotech Eastern Star sale. I was desperately looking for a way to get over the threshold for the free shipping. I ended up looking at that sale as a way to make up the difference. This actually ended up being by itself as much as everything else I ordered. But I think it's worth it. It's a fun show. It's worth checking out.
All right.
Yeah.
Last one.
Mm-hmm.
So, one of the main reasons I actually went ahead and did the order, because I needed this, because I have Unfriended, but I don't have the sequel, and I didn't want to pay much for the sequel, which is Unfriended Dark Web. It actually is not a bad one. Unfriended was pretty cool because it had like the supernatural haunting computer, kind of Ghost in the Machine type feel. And this one also follows along that same type of length, but this one actually deals with real hackers and criminals. It is kind of depressing because it's got the other one is kind of too, because it has a darker ending. Though the other one, I feel like I felt better about the ending than this one. I need to look at the alternative endings because I am curious how those are. But it still was pretty good, pretty scary, pretty decent addition. I'm kind of glad to have it so that I can round out that series. Unfriended is a series that if you like a good horror and you think that a bad ending to all of the characters is not a bad thing, then you probably would be good with this.
And there were no survivors.
Pretty much. Pretty much. But like I said, I gotta look at the alternate endings and see how it goes.
Right.
Well, with that being said, I guess that's it. We're gonna take a bit of a break, and we're not coming back tonight. So, but if you have a chance, since this is the Wednesday, go back and check out our Inside Movies Galore discussions of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and
Color Out of Space.
thank you, that one. And we'll see you.
Those movies just go together, like, you know.
Well, they're identical in every way. So we'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.